I think people who stand for local government are a bit weird. Now, I don't mean that in the sense that, oh God, that sort of person that dressed funny, smelt a bit funny, was sitting in the corner of the room in your school class. I don't mean necessarily that kind of weird, but I'll make an exception for the Dunedin City Council. That's exactly the sort of person that got elected to council. But I would imagine a few other councils around the country as well. No, no, no. The real reason is that if you've got a job, if you have an income, if you're running your own business, if you are salaried, you really can't run for council. In fact, the way in which councils are set up, they're expressly designed to keep normal people from running them. And when I mean normal, I mean, here we go, normal. I mean, normal people are people aged between, I don't know, 20 and 60, who have a family, who have a full-time job, whether that's their own business, self-employed in their own business, or working, as an orchardist or as on an orchard, whether you're a manager of a business or a company, or you're a retail worker or you're an office worker. It doesn't really matter. Local government, is expressly designed so that you can't stand for it. And the reason why, whenever you come to the local government elections, everybody looks like me, i.e. old, or addled, that's the other types, addled, and they're mostly women with dyed hair, can I say, and they look much better in the photo than when in reality, because you get a fright when you see them in real life. You go, oh my God, you look like that, but your photo, just quietly, there's a lot of face, what do they call it? A lot of what are they?
How much Photoshop do they do on
Photoshop, that's the word. There's a lot of Photoshop goes on at local government time, can I tell you?
They must have a whole Photoshop department, some of these.
There are some women out there, I don't know, they whiten their teeth and all the wrinkles disappear and they look attractive. And then you meet them and you go, oh, what happened there? Mind you, I can say that for years I used to use a photo of me from... For years, I used to use a photo of me taken from 20 years previous. And finally, one returning officer said, you don't look like this. And I said, that's me. They said, it's your younger brother. Yeah, but it's not you. Can we have a more modern photo, please? I mean, oh, okay then. Anyhow, doesn't matter. Normal people don't stand. And I'll tell you why normal people don't stand. It's because of the times and of the week that the council meetings are. And it's because over the last 10 years, 15 years in particular, council meetings have grown like topsy. It's simply not possible to hold down a full-time salaried or wage job in this country, or to have children, young children, especially in your family, school-aged children, for God's sake, I'd almost think, and be an elected councillor as well. I mean, those sorts of people are as scarce as hen's teeth. And so as a consequence of that, a whole series of people have ended up around council tables who either have no business experience or recent employment history, that's a good word, Michael, have never actually had any form of governance responsibility in their life. In other words, they've never managed anybody, never been in charge of anybody, and or alternatively, they need the money. Didn't save for super. Second wife cleaned us out. Oh God, I know that. Second wife cleaned you out. No, it's all right. I'm on my second wife now. A second wife cleaned you out of the, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Oh God, what are we going to do? There's my superannuation. So as a real result, you've got people sitting around council tables who, as a general rule, the only people who can sit around, and there's probably the reason why there are so many farmers who are elected particularly, but even they are dwindling now as well, and they used to be, and still are really, the voices of reason around many council tables, but is because there is so much time, effort, energy, work required just to sit around a table. And so you're sitting around a table for, oh God, 20 hours a week, 25 in some cases, poorly paid, really badly remunerated. This morning, for example, we're going to talk to Wellington. They get paid over $100,000 a year. You go to Masterton, they probably get paid about $25,000 a year, but they do the same work. It's really unfair. You're doing exactly the same work in Central Otago as you're doing in Auckland in terms of the number of meetings you go to, the responsibilities you've got to meet, but you're paid a fraction of the salary. So, of course, you can see what happens in that particular case. Retired folk And that's why people my age end up being the predominant age group around council tables. Anyhow, there's always a scrap now, and it's become more prevalent over the last 10 to 15 years. After staff got control of the timing of meetings, so they didn't run it at times that people who had a job could come to. They deliberately timed it so that they could go to it. So after the elected members lost that battle, and they should never have lost it because it's their own meetings, they set their own things. Lack of guts, I think, and a lack of courage are two of the greatest impediments that local government have in this country, and I'm talking about from local government members. A lack of guts and courage. But anyhow, so they lost that battle, and then they lost the battle as to, what you can tell them to do. And then there was this artificial line between governance and management. And management have been pushing governance back off inquiring into any of the daily decisions that they make and any of the so-called, what's the word? They use a particular word for it. Managed decisions. That governance should not have any, say, input into or even question, it would appear, as part of their job. At which point you say to the people who are elected, are sitting around the council table, what the hell are you here for? It's the same question of Oliver Cromwell saying to the Long Parliament, isn't it? Go for all the good you do, go for God's sake, because you do no good here, or words to that effect. And you could pretty much say that to all of the governance teams around all of the 60 to 70 councils in this country at the moment, because their impact upon their councils and upon their communities is almost zilch. And when I say it's almost zilch, it's actually becoming even less than zilch as you go fast. They simply turn up, nod their heads politely to all the staff reports, go with the staff recommendations, and then file out of the room again. And if they're lucky, they've been provided with a catered lunch. And that's it. And off you go. So today we're going to Masterton to see the latest of one of those disputes. All right. That's a long background to that particular issue, but I would suggest to you what's happening in Masterton is illustrative of the frustration that is being felt in many council tables around the whole of the country. We're going to both Wellington and Masterton today to have the latest updates on disputes in local government. And can I tell you, the reason you should be, and I've said this to you all along, you can concentrate all you like on central government, and yes, but the chances of you pulling the levers in central government are just about zero, all right? At least in local government, if you have courage, if you have insight, if you have a little bit of integrity, you can pull the levers a little bit. But as rates increase and as council charges increase, it is becoming increasingly obvious that you ignore local government at your peril, because they are the one group who have a monopoly and who treat you worse than Air New Zealand. And I would not have thought that possible. But local councils around this country have been heaping double-digit rate increases upon constituents now for years, to no pushback at all from the community. Why is that? Because the community feels more and more powerless and the staff take more and more